What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to KvltDeFi. This is a channel where we bring you the latest and greatest in innovations in tech in decentralized finance, quite specifically in the Dev Jacob ecosystem. Tonight, it's actually been a while, right? It's been a while since I've done a Mafia stream. Basically, ever since we've had the pre-ranking go live, people have just been going at it, and there isn't really a lot I can add to that. One thing that I have been doing, and I will talk about this more when we get into the chat, is speaking to other influencers, people that are toying with the idea of coming on board. It is a really, actually, I have to say, I'm really excited about this one because we have the Don of one of, well, actually the most successful crime family, I would say, on BNB. And I'm really interested to hear what he has to say. We've tried to set up the stream a few times, and it's fallen to the wayside for both of our scheduling. But now we're here, right? Now we're here, and that's why I've given the title of this one, "Don Lucky from the OG breaks his silence on all things mafia," because very outspoken, very well liked by certain people, not so liked by other people, and it's really about boiling everything down today, trying to find out who this guy is and what he's up to, and more than anything, what the families are up to, right? Because they're playing a pretty good game, I have to say. As me, sitting on the sidelines, the neutral party, as you all know, I just like to see what everyone is doing, right, and see what everyone is getting on with. And I can tell you that these guys, since they've come out the gate, actually, since they started, they've done really, really well. So yeah, I'll bring up my guest for tonight, and it is Don Lucky. How you doing, man?
Yeah, not too bad. Thanks for having me, pal.
No problem at all. No problem at all. Yeah, we were chatting actually in the green room just before this. So United won. You're happy?
Yeah, 3-0. I've had a couple of days, but yeah, I can't wait to get on with this.
Yeah, good. Hey, thanks for doing this. It's been a long time coming, and I think, hopefully, actually, I think one of the things I think we'd like to get out of this, both of us actually would like to get out of this, is a bit more understanding into not only yourself, but obviously the OGs, what the OGs are kind of up to. I've speaking to the other Dons over the past few months. Everyone has a kind of a different strategy, and I've been talking to Bob. Actually, Bob has been on stream with me for a few times, and yeah, it's good to be actually getting an update on what's going on. But before we do any of that, right, I mean, let the people know, who are you? Like, who are you? What are you doing? And what are you doing in crypto?
Yeah, so I'm probably the same as everybody else, trying to make their way in the crypto sphere, as it were. I think that everybody has a beginning. Mine probably started, I'd say, 5+ years ago. I navigated predominantly through BSC, and then branched out into other chains. Came aware of Hex and RH and his kind of way of doing things, as it were. And then from there went into Pulse Chain, probably a little bit more, and then things went the way they went. I think that's probably the best way of putting that situation or scenario. And then kind of picked up on the old Tyra ecosystem, if you like, and then really dug down deep into Jacob and what he was about, and looking at his expertise and what he was doing in crypto, for me, definitely caught my eye. So I think that was something that I thought I'd like to jump into. So yeah.
Nice. So when the OGs kind of started, then was it always your guys' plan? Because I know you guys were kind of like you say in the Thank You Richard Hart protocol. Was the idea always that you were going to be the Don of a family?
Yes, and probably no. I think very early on, it was easy to notice different fractions within Tyra, I would say. There was certain cliques and certain people that gravitated naturally towards each other, whether it be because they have the same understanding or the same mentality. I think that kind of lended itself well to certain groups of people. But for myself in particular, naturally, we was just an opposition to the other guys. I think that some of us got our heads together and we decided very early on that we would be the opposition, as it were, and then a couple of us got together and we all decided to make the original gangsters. I think that the name fits perfect for what it is, and I think some of the guys that are part of the original gangsters, chat rivalries aside, I think that as people and as fathers, uncles, brothers alike, I think that there's some great guys as well. So I think that we are we're good people, I guess. Depending on who you ask, anyway.
Well, I think that's it, right? I think everyone has an opinion, and it's just like I say, like it's for me, and I mean, well, we touched on this as well. For me, I think look, the game isn't fully live yet, right? I mean, but you can pretty much do a lot of stuff. But
yeah,
I think that at this stage, all this bickering and all this back and forward and all this type of stuff, I mean, is going to happen. It's kind of supposed to happen, I guess, if you look at it on the on the broader spectrum of the fact that it is a game, it's a mafia game, and when you're dealing with people's money, emotions can run high, right? You know what I mean? But so what's the dynamic then of the OG family, right? Because you had the original gangsters at first, and now I think the elite OGs are around. Are you guys, how do you guys decide who goes into what family?
So I think that if we look on how serious, I'd say, players are taking the game, I think that's one aspect to take into consideration. But I think predominantly it's a time served kind of basis. I think that naturally, the more you are in mafia and the more you navigate through the different development stages, naturally you pick up on things that strategically you can use to your advantage. So I think that first things first, to be considered an elite OG, you have to be somebody that is constantly, in TG chats or on the bnbmafia.io website, and the same with pulsemafia.io as well. You have to be involved as much as you can as well. So I think that I guess that's I guess one thing to take forward.
Yeah, and so it is. Are the decisions made as a group, or I mean, I'm guessing you have overall say, but I mean, how does the inner dynamics work?
So the dynamics of that are very. In fact, if I'm being honest, I'd say, no pun intended. I think luckily that I don't really have to make any serious, decisions. If I'm being honest, everything kind of just falls into place the way it needs to be, and I think that's testament to the guys that we have in the elite OGs and the original gangsters and some of the subgroups and also the alliances. I think that if we look at the way that we are set up, no decision is final in terms of, let's say, for example, anybody having the overriding say, including myself. I think that's very important. Naturally, you will see that in the worth tables on BNB Mafia in particular, that if we look at Bob or Jay Ripto or Elong or any of the other guys, if we look at a work perspective, them guys are definitely, higher than what I am. So it would be probably naive for me to not take on board or consider their points more than my own at times. But again, it's more of a collective effort. So if we decide anything, it's because the majority of us decide it, and that's how we move forward as a family. And I think that that's probably something that all dons can learn from as well. Naturally, as the game shifts and the development stages throw different spanners in the works, we have to adapt. And I think that, like I said, it would be naive for me to think that I have all bases covered. And naturally, then I draw upon the wealth of knowledge from people such as Bob or Jay Ripto or Elong or even KvltDeFi, which is Jimmy DePaddy, or DJ, which is Dynamo. We have, like I said, we have people that are within the elite OGs that are very backseat, if you like, and some people that are very forward coming as well. So again, it's no decision is taken lightly, but when a decision is made, it is a collective decision that is made. Yeah.
Oh, good. See, now for me, sitting on the outside, right? I wouldn't have really thought that at this stage, because obviously, like you say, I see some people are a lot more vocal in the chat than others, right?
Yeah.
We know how that goes. Some people have sort of taken a step back for the time being. Some people voice their opinion every now and again. But I think, you're active all the time. It's actually quite impressive, to be honest. It's pretty much, it's almost a guarantee I can log on at any time during the day and there's a recent message from you. You know what I mean?
So I think it's a good segue to speak on different points that give me or allow me to have the time to be able to do that. So my background in work life is catering and hospitality. I started out in culinary school. From there, I went into restaurants in various city centres across the UK. And then from that, I went into more of a corporate role in the health, safety and risk management of restaurants. It's quite interesting and fascinating. If you understand the McDonald's model, in particular, more of a land grab and appreciation of property value as opposed to the lease or the restaurant turning a profit, it's more about land acquisition and lease acquisition and using the very thing that is in short supply, which is land, I guess. So as a result of that, with certain pressures of family life, I've been slightly vocal on personal situations. I have a daughter that is quite poorly at the minute, but each day to the next, it gives me the ability to work quite remote. Albeit challenging at times, it does allow me to have the time to be able to focus on mafia and other interests of mine at the same time. So yeah. Cool.
Well, I told you the other day in a message, I'm hoping everything goes okay with your daughter. Hoping that all gets sorted out soon.
No, thank you. I really appreciate that. And I also really appreciate some of the other guys within the community as well, their feedback, their support as well, especially in DMs as well. A lot of people have actually reached out. I think that the chat might paint a certain narrative and a certain, way of being, but it's definitely not the case behind the scenes. I think there's a lot of kind and thoughtful individuals within Mafia. I think that we're very good at playing players and roles, I guess, characters.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what it is. Everyone fulfills their character.
Yeah, I think
actually, speaking of characters, we have another character here from the Elite OGs.
What's up, guys? Bob. How are you?
How are you doing, Bob?
I'm good.
Good. Hey, great to have you. I'm really happy to have two of you on here. That's great.
We might have somebody else as well. There might be somebody else making a bit of a show, and possibly two people as well. Depends. But give it maybe 20 minutes, and we'll see.
The more the merrier. The more the merrier. That's absolutely no problem at all. So right. Now, we understand a bit more of the dynamics within the Elite OGs, right? But I mean, if there was someone brand new right now that was looking at Mafia, because we've had a few in the chat recently, as we know. If someone was to come along now and say, right, how do I join the Original Gangsters? What do I do?
Do you want to answer this, Bob? I've done a little bit of talking. I don't mind if you chip in.
Oh no, I don't want to steal your show by any means, but mainly just send us a DM. I'm Bob Tilladahan. Lucky is lucky, and so mainly just get in touch with us. We're always around. we're back in the chat, so you can always just click on our icon and send us a DM, and we'd be happy to talk to anybody who's interested in joining.
I think also, one main point is that we are actively in Telegram, and we're actively on, like I said, bnbmafia.io daily as well. So if anybody is worth their salt or does come into the game, we will notice you before you notice us anyway. So yeah, definitely anyway. But it doesn't mean to say that we're not open to people that are fresh or new on boards to BNB Mafia. I think that's something that maybe myself, Bob, and even other dons alike should really pick up and definitely support new on boards coming into the Mafia ecosystem. I think that rivalries aside, I think that now more than ever we need to focus and we need to onboard as much as we can. I think that that's a topic of discussion that we could probably speak on until we go blue in the face. But I think definitely, I think that the approach over the last 8 months, maybe 10 months within the Telegram has definitely not been worthwhile or beneficial to Mafia on a whole. But I think that's a discussion for now and also for another day as well, I guess.
Yeah, I would second that. I mean, I do speak to people, you know, especially when for me personally, right? If I can be a bit greedy here, I guess it's when I spend a significant amount of time talking to people and trying to convince them that Mafia is a really good game and, you know, come and play it. When they have a look at it and they you know, and I show people the website and stuff and how people can earn money, that's all great. That's all fantastic. Like, I mean, it does exactly what it says in the tin. You know, there's ways you can have a bit of fun. There's ways you can make a bit of money. And then when they go into the chat, when they go into the chat, a lot of the time they're just like, hey, look, I don't have, you know, I don't have the I don't want to say, patience is the wrong word, I guess. But when people say, you know, I sort of don't have the time to jump into the chat and wait for the back and forward to die down, you know. So yeah, I'll pop in, I'll have a look, and then I'm out again, you know. It's one of the things from my side. I'm just saying from my side. I mean, obviously, I know it's Mafia. I know what the game is, right? But you know, we need every now and again we need that little bit of levity, I think.
No, you're right. I think none of us are naive as well. I think that we all are aware that sometimes, like I said, given the rivalries, we definitely make your job that tad little bit harder as well. So I'm not, like I said, hats off to you in terms of what you do, you know, week in, week out. For Mafia as well as, you know, other projects within Jacob ecosystem. I think that, like I said, you know, rivalries aside, I'm not asking anybody to, you know, let's be friends tomorrow or let's change the dynamics of the chat. But I definitely do think that as, you know, weeks turn into months over the next couple of months, that we should take a conscious effort into making the landing Telegram Mafia, you know, as welcoming as possible to new onboards, and make it such that players can actually, you know, get the information that they need in order to set up a profile and navigate the Mafia game, but also be able to, you know, pick a side if they wanted to pick a side, you know, or even if they wanted to stay neutral. I think that we should provide a atmosphere and a place where they can, you know, be themselves, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's inevitability we will get there, right? Because I'm not under any illusions that when, you know, when the game is fully working and everyone's doing their thing, I'm not so sure how the killing of other players is really going to affect it from the beginning. I don't see it's going to be like that. I think people have, since we saw the guys from Disturbed come on board, and listening to what their Don is saying, right? The killing aspect might be a secondary thing. People might just say, well, look, you know, maybe it's not worth it financially, right? Because we still don't really know what it's going to cost a player to kill another player, right? We don't know how successful those kills are going to be. So I think it will become a secondary thing. And I think, and I've said this a lot, and I really do believe it. I think that people are going to have to find a way of working together, especially when it comes to things like smuggling, right? They're going to, you know, and different cities, they're going to have to find a middle ground.
Yeah, for sure.
They don't have to be friends, you know what I mean? They don't have to be friends,
right.
but at the end of the day, they have to work together, you know?
You're not wrong. I think if we take maybe 2 steps back from that point as well, because I think it's very important to pick up on other points. And like I said, I'm not going to paint myself as innocent or as, you know, I'm a white knight or an angel in disguise, you know, because I've played my part as well in the shithousery, as it were. So I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna say that I've made it easy for anybody else, especially the opposition, anyway. But likewise, I don't think they have made it any easier for myself either. So I think you give as good as you get in that situation, and being from good old Donegal, as it were. I think, you definitely know that we give as good as we get anyway. So I think, but that said, I think that it's definitely now is the time. And again, I'm aware that this is probably going to be met with a certain degree of, I wouldn't say animosity, but I would definitely say bitterness, that we should definitely stop banging heads and start coming together for the good of the protocol, even if it is just for a short period of time, even if it just means that we can actually get some sort of a collective job done in order to aid yourself and Jacob in furthering Mafia to the, you know, crypto space, I guess.
Yeah, so sorry, Bob.
I said, well said.
I absolutely agree with that. Right, so I'm looking here at the numbers, right? So we've got it says we've got 1,103 active characters, 23 crime families, and a 260 BNB vault at the moment, right? There is still a massive amount of available tiles. What are you guys doing around allegiances? How do you pick an allegiance? How do you pick someone to work with? Or do you specifically, you know, do you go to look for them? Do they come to you? How does all the allegiances work?
Do you want to speak on this, Bob? Because I've done a little bit of speaking, but I don't mind filling in if you don't want to take the stage.
No, go ahead. Can you hear me okay? I think my microphone was messed up.
Yeah, we can hear you fine, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you fine. So in respects and regard to allegiances, I think that naturally we have to have the same understanding, first things first. I think that it's I'd say blatantly obvious that some of us don't have the same understanding, especially if we can't even hold a conversation on, you know, what the weather is like, for example. I guess, but naturally as well, Jacob has created a game that is built on that very principle of rivalry and of opposition. So I think that fair play to him, you know, in that respect. But going back to allegiances, again, it's just people, you know, like-minded individuals. But also there is, I guess, a certain degree of strategic planning around allegiances and specific players and specific families that have got access. I'll be honest, to certain areas of the map, maybe assets. So it isn't just one, one thing fits all. But again, a basic understanding is probably the first thing that we look for.
Yeah, and I'll add to that, Colt. A lot of the people that we reached out to and we've had success with have been people that have been on your show. And what I've done is when you've had somebody on, kind of research them a little bit and see what kind of community they have, what kind of resources they have. And that's the reason I pursued Richie as hard as I did, is I knew he was going to be really valuable to the game. And he's been busy, but he's got a wealth of knowledge. He's got a large community, and he's somebody that could really help us out. And so that's kind of what I looked for. And it's the same reason that I got with the Warriors, because they're a large community with a lot of guys that are very smart about crypto. And so that's the main thing, is if it's somebody that looks impressive, then I reach out to them. But
I think you just sorry to interrupt. I think you just picked up on an important point as well in regards to certain families within the game and certain allegiances as well. I think it's definitely an important point to pick up on development and development fatigue. Not so much in terms of Jacob's output, but in terms of I'd say families that had every intention of being part of the Mafia game, but unfortunately fell to the wayside due to the crypto sphere being one day in crypto is a week or a month in real life. So I think that naturally when you're asking somebody to wait maybe a month, well, that's a year there and then. So I think then if we look at a year is a lifetime in crypto. So I think that naturally we will probably see people go, but then I definitely think we will see people come back as well. That was once here before, but then they would reinvent themselves and come back maybe as players or maybe as a stronger family. Or so I definitely think that we should be open-minded to even if we look at other people leaving the game and then people's opinions on people leaving the game. I think it's important to be aware that a month in crypto is a very long time.
Yeah, I absolutely, I definitely agree with that. It's very easy. I think anyway, it's extremely easy to be upset at things when red candles are everywhere, right? When we haven't seen the bull market that we've been promised, right? There's money here and there, yes, like you can make money lots of different places, but we're still waiting for the glorious green candles of 2025, and what it's like. As soon as the green candles, everyone's sentiment changes. Everyone's happy about spending money. They're happy about doing this, that, and the other. I think generally, as Mafia goes, I think yes, the amount of people that we have dedicated to playing the game, actively playing the game, and the people that have really sort of put in the time, right? Because it's a time thing. As well, it's not just finances. The amount of people that are putting in the time, I think we have a good basis, right? And that's talking, you guys, the other families, and I'm kind of also talking about Pulse Chain as well, I suppose. And Mafia on Pulse as well. I think we've got a good base, but it can be quite daunting for someone new that comes along and say, okay, what do I do? Where do I start? Because already some people are head and shoulders miles away from the others, and I think in that way we're kind of lucky on BNB because we still have a huge amount of land tiles available. It's definitely more difficult on Pulse Chain because there's no land going now, so people are kind of they're already painting themselves into a corner. But I think on BNB we have such a magnificent opportunity, and you guys are active all the time, so I'm happy about it.
No, you picked up on an important point as well, but that can also swing both ways as well, I guess. So, just to pick up on a community member's, question in chat. Yes, I am from Manchester, and you can definitely tell wherever you're from around the world. Not sure if you can pick up on a little bit of an Irish twang as well. Albeit I grew up in Manchester, I was born in Donegal, so. Yeah, but that's another topic. But what you said is definitely a point to listen to. Definitely, I think that if we look at the carrot is the vault, for example. So if we look at the carrot and we look at chasing the carrot, I think it's easy to keep throwing finances into the game and pursue it that way, but it definitely does become a time where you have to take a step back and reevaluate what you put into the game or what you plan on putting into the game going forward. And I think like it is in early access, so we're in a position where do you over leverage yourself now, or do you reserve some funds to go ahead later on down the line is an interesting dynamic. And I think that if we look at Pulse chain, I think that a lot of people looked at the availability of just assets themselves, and it was more of a grab. It was more of a feeding frenzy, I think. Whereas, time will tell whether or not that was a good thing. But I definitely do think that the setup on BNB lends itself well to adoption, more so than what Pulse Chain probably would. But again, the future will tell us whether or not that is the case, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely think so too. How is everything going with the casinos for you guys? The roulettes and the slot machines. I know that when we launched them, there was like there was a huge buzz around it, and you were all very the OGs were all very active around your roulette tables and things. Are they still ticking along nicely?
Yeah, well, they're family items. Maybe that's a little bit of alpha for the people that are watching, but yeah, they are considered and held by myself in trust of the rest of the OGs, or a certain degree of OGs that we have in a scheme, as it were, where we all have a collective goal in terms of making a success out of Vegas in particular. Hence why we occupy most of the land in Vegas, and hence why we are the biggest land developers in BNB Mafia as well. Yeah, there's no mistake that we are the biggest land developers, I think, and that's testament more to some of the other guys as well. We have some excellent I'd say, for use of another word, yield farmers and compounders alike. Definitely, yeah.
And so when it comes to strategy then, right, when it comes to strategy in terms of, like you say, yield farmers versus, people who are just accumulating assets and etc. Is there a structure that goes through the family? I don't want to say like a checklist, but is there some sort of structure that goes in to say, okay, well, if you want to be in this family, or if you are already in this family, we need one person or 5 people to do X. We need, like 2 or 3 people to do Y. And that all pushes towards the betterment of the family. So do you understand what I mean? So it's like,
can I give you an honest answer as well? And I know people might not think this is an honest answer.
Yeah, sure. I mean, please.
Yeah. I think that each individual OG knows their place, and I think that Bob will echo this as well. I think that everybody plays their position just naturally. There is a level of strategic planning that goes into individual quests, if you like, in terms of what an individual like to acquire and develop and build for themselves. But I think for the most part, we all have, like I said, we are like-minded individuals, which then lends itself well into a common goal. And like you just said before, that means that we are in the position that we are in for that very reason. So, yeah, it is what it is, I guess.
I like that. I mean, I remember. I don't remember which family it was now. I think it was the Black Thistles. I think it was Richie when Richie was starting the Black Thistles, and it was kind of new. He was being quite aggressive with the planning of the family, because he wanted to try and set themselves up for success, like pretty much straight away. So he was quite aggressive with. I don't specifically mean by telling individuals, okay, I need you to do this, or you're going to do this. I don't think it was like that. But I know that with the family, with the planning that was involved in it, he was actually quite aggressive with it all. So I just wanted your opinion on that actually too.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, Richie can be my witness. He's in our subgroup anyway, and he has his place within the elite OGs as well. Albeit that he's, the Don of the Black Thistles. Richie is as part as the OG Alliance and the OG Elites as I am, or as Bob is, or anyone else. Obviously, his focus is more on the Black Thistles, and naturally that's going to be the case. But I think that if you you know, if you have the view that planning is the be all and end all, I think you'll become unstuck. And I don't think that a lot of the game development and the rollout from Jacob is designed in such a way where there is certain, you know, pitfalls that you have to unfortunately fall down, and you pick yourself up and you move forward and you adapt, and then you know you better the next turn and action, and you use that in order to better the family situation, I guess. But definitely I think that there's some family planning going on in the background, but you can never take anything really serious in that respect, and you have to take everything with a pinch of salt, and you also have to look at what's to come and kind of preemptively plan for tomorrow. But again, what will be will be. I think I put as much trust in the guys that we have in the elite OGs, and I trust them to make the best decisions for the elite OGs going forward. So I think that is the recipe that all of the families should look for first. They should look for the individuals that think like them. I think if you think the same and you act the same, the result will be the same. That's how it should work. So yeah, definitely. Be the same. Be the same.
Cool. I like that. I see Bob is very busy in the chat here. There's some people asking. It looks like they're asking the right questions. No,
you're right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Well done, Bob. Well done. So anyone that's out there, yes, anyone that's out there that wants to join the OGs, jump into Telegram chats, right? It's t.me/BNB Mafia game. You will find a bunch of the guys in there pretty much every day.
Even just Mafia, like I said, I've been meaning to do a stream for a while, but like I said, life situations pushed it aside. But I think that Mafia is more important than the OGs or the syndicate, the directorate, you know, the Black Thistles, the Mugnals. I think that what Jacob is doing, and that's probably one of my other topics and points that I wanted to discuss a little bit more, because I know sometimes it can look that I don't always, you know, approach Jacob or Jacob's situations in a way that people always might think that I'm not a fan of his, but it's actually the opposite. I think that if people seen DMs or if people actually understood my take on Jacob, I think that you might then take me different in that respect. I think that is number one. I think he's fair. I think yeah, we can all agree on that. But number two, I think that he unfortunately has to make decisions that affect many different people, and as such, I think those decisions they have impacts in a variety of ways. But I think if we look at the individual, the man himself, we are here because he's a unicorn within the space. Let's get one thing, you know, straight and clear. We all gravitate towards this man because of his expertise. That is the reason why we are Jacob fans first and foremost. Even if I lose every penny tomorrow, for example, you know, I still see Jacob as somebody that will one day make something that will be, wow, yeah, I am here. Jacob isn't in the space. I think it's very apparent. He's not in the space to make riches for himself. I think he's surpassed that milestone. I think he's hit them achievements already. You know, when you get to a point where you probably think you have some good money. You know, I think that he's definitely he passed that bridge a long time ago. I think he's after the naming light moment, you know, where you go to the stage and you see that person and it says Jacob. I think that's what he's looking for. I think he's here to prove himself. I think he's here to show people what can be done in crypto as well. And I think that his ideas and his way of thinking is somewhat, I'd say, revolutionary. I think he's definitely someone that is a pioneer that definitely, you know, wants to innovate and you know, take things to a new level. And I think that that's why every single one of us within Mafia are stuck around. albeit hard at times, we're here because we believe in him. Yeah. So I might have waffled on a little bit, but when
you took the words out of my mouth. Now, what can I say? I think it's amazing how many really cool builders we have, right? They're building really cool things, right? But it's very easy, and we see it. Oh, we see it so much. We see it a hell of a lot now on PulseChain as well, because PulseChain still needs stuff. It needs stuff. But when someone comes along that builds things that you say, okay, well, hang on a minute, that's the world's first, and I like the way that this is done. And I remember in the very beginning of PulsePot, I remember there were people that were reaching out to Jacob and team, real like best in class developers, and they were reaching out and they were saying, hey, I've just had a look at your code and it's pretty fucking shit hot. When people like that start coming around and you start hearing all those conversations that are going on about the Jacob and the team that he's built, that he's built around him, it's natural for people to follow founders, and I think he's getting that now. I think he's getting that founder, that I don't know, that founder, I don't want to say fame, it's not exactly fame, but you know what I mean. It's like people are following Jacob from project to project because they, exactly like you said, they know that it's an inevitability that he's going to hit the nail on the head with something that's going to be absolutely massive, or 10 things that are going to be absolutely massive. We just don't know yet.
Well, I think the first one will then lead into the second one. So I think that's first things first. He's got to get one under the belt, and then when he does, I think bang, yeah, it starts to get a bit mad. But I think if just just going back to a point that you picked up on a second ago, if we look at what Jacob is doing, let's say for example with Mafia, that is when people say about let's say a unicorn, someone that stands out in the space. If we look at whether we look at the code, whether we look at the mechanics, one thing I've noticed with Jacob is that he's a human being the same way you and I are. He's not afraid to get things wrong, and then learn from his mistakes, make them better, and then move forward and deliver a better product. And I think for me, as in the line of work that I'm in, we learn more about the failures than we do about the successes. And I think that if you learn anything from that process and you use that for its full potential, I think that's what Jacob does going forward every single time. And it's only when you see them attributes within a person that you actually can say, I've got to be behind this person. I have to be behind him, because you allow him the time to make his failures, but you also celebrate his successes. And I think that eventually we will all be celebrating his successes together. And I think that when we do that, I think that, whether it be for financial success or whether it be for that moment where you say, I was there at the beginning, I think that eventually when Jacob does get it right, he will get it right. And I think he will prove a lot of people wrong. And I also think there's also some in-depth things, especially, PulseChain specific. I think that Jacob isn't on PulseChain for no reason. I think he's there because he's proven a point. I think he's there because he knows that he has the ground and the space to actually show people, look who I am. And I think that when he does do that, I think when he does get it right, I think that, Jacob, Mafia, Algo, USD or whatever project it is, whether it be onchain.bet, I've seen some of the interesting bits for that as well the other day. I think
on-chain is coming. On-chain is coming. I've been telling people for over a year that don't have enough PLSP, don't have enough BNBP.
Yeah, well, you have actually. That is. I think you should trademark that slogan anyway.
I'm going to put it on a t-shirt. I've already got the t-shirt back here, which the Dev Jacob t-shirt, and it's bait, and he says, right, my Dev is better than yours.
Exactly. When he gets it right, best believe it will be more than a green candle.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like you say, right? If we bring it back to Mafia, it is still in early access, and it's it's a beast of a game. You know what I mean? There's so much stuff that's going on, so much stuff that has to be done and has to be worked out. So it's inevitable that things are going to change. And yes, Jacob is making very difficult decisions, right? Because one, you know, what's good for one is not good for another. Even if it's just because two different people are playing the game in two different ways, you know. But you know, when we have, you know, hopefully we get to the 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 player games, you know, when it gets up to those levels, I definitely wouldn't like to be in his position on making any decisions then after that, you know.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to speak on some game mechanics next, I guess.
Yeah, let me know, because I know that you guys, you know, because obviously we have the backstage chat, and I'm in there following that quite a bit. Let us know.
Yeah, for sure. I think if we look now at what's to come this week, have you got any alpha that you can share with us? I know Jacob
coming this week.
Yeah, I know.
No.
Jacob said he's got some updates coming. But,
yeah, Jacob has some updates coming. I can't say anything right now about any of the Mafia updates that are coming. For me, really, at the moment, the focus is getting as much input put into on-chain PUSD and Mafia as I can. Right.
Okay.
I mean, and you know, it's spread between quite a lot. I was going to do a live stream to talk about on-chain a couple of days ago, and when I went through all the documentation, when I was just, you know, going through all the documentation, I thought, this has to be a video series. It can't just be a stream, because it'll follow on. It follows on to so much other things. So from Monday, there's going to be a video going out every day, which is going to be breaking all the on-chain stuff down, as well as that is PUSD going on. Obviously, I'm massively bullish on the protocol. It's literally, you know, Jacob has said it's coming. It's going to happen. But again, like everything, we need to see a few green candles on Pulse Chain. We just have to. It's everyone's sentiment changes, even when Pulse Chain goes up for a couple of days in a row. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I think as soon as we start to see ETH move, I mean, I'm still bullish on like around a $5,000 BNB. Right, I'm massively bullish on that. That was always my prediction. Some people have said up to 10,000, but I can't really see that happening at this stage. I have to say,
a sight to behold anyway if that happens.
Exactly right. $5,000 BNB. Oh my God, I'm absolutely massively bullish on that. And imagine what the vault on BNB will be like then. Wow.
Sure. I think another point or a topic that I wanted to speak on, if you can't give us any alpha, was sharing some interesting dynamics around the ranking stage or development stage, as it were. I think that if we look at the dynamics of ranking and the different ranking tasks, and we look at who's doing what and what they are doing. Just give me a second. Let me just drag a screen up. So if we look, I think the biggest indication to who is active is the jail. I think that if you're in jail, you're active.
Yeah.
If we look at BNB in particular, if we look at Disturbed, just watching Keno and some of the other guys work, I think they've definitely used expertise that they gained elsewhere in order to push through the game, as it were. But we've just observing, we have learned so much already as well. I think even if we understand, maybe it's a little bit of alpha, maybe people don't want to hear this or they do want to hear this, manually ranking is your best tactic and best approach. It helps for clicks, for traffic, for Jacob and the developers, naturally, as it would any developer, but it helps in XP. If we look at other aspects to the ranking stage, if we look at the kill skill, for example, the narrowing down of the XP and the I call it a pinch point, for use of another word. what Jacob has done in terms of being able to let new individuals come into the game and slow down individuals that are further on in the ranking chain, as it were, is definitely a positive thing. It's took me some time to believe that was the case, because if you're ranking and you're getting so much XP for one action one day, and then the next day you look again and you're like, whoa, hold on a minute, it's gone, it's, you know, it's drawn back by about 25% per action. So, but I definitely think for the good of the protocol, that's definitely a good thing. But if we look going forward and we look at the alpha that I would like to give individuals, you know, watching the stream today is watch your gas. And I think that the other OGs probably would say, oh, why is Lucky doing this? I think that Mafia is only successful the more people we have in jail. The more people we have ranking and manually ranking, the more successful Mafia is. And then in turn, the more successful the OGs will be as well. So, you know, I'm not naive to think that it's all about us. I think that we need clickers, we need button pushers. That's what we need. So definitely, I think that naturally, as we, you know, get towards kill activation, as it were, as we get, you know, towards that point, I think that the more people we have clicking buttons, the better it is for Mafia. Naturally, to use that word again, we will see more people come in as soon as they see green, but people will come back to these streams and they will watch them over and over again. I think that manually ranking, as opposed to using helper bots. If you are sleeping, use your helpers as much as you can. But you know, if you're working, use your helpers as much as you can. But if I have some other people might do it this way, they might not do it this way. I have a device that I only use for Mafia, for example, and it's a portable device. And I would give that advice to anybody. And again, whether you call it alpha or whether you call it, you know, spilling the beans, the more people we have pushing buttons, the better it is for Mafia. So I think that, get a portable device and rank as you go. Definitely is my ethos or strategy anyway.
No, well, there you go. There you go, straight from the horse's mouth. I like that, and hey, and I agree with that too. This game is, you know, the success in this game is really all about people coming in and doing stuff, you know, really doing stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the jail board now as well, actually, since you've been talking about it. And yeah, like 90% of people in jail are from the Disturbed family. 90%. Yeah, those guys are they're constantly in jail.
The reason, again, it's more alpha, but I'm going to say it because I hope people are listening and they will take this mentality on board and they will do the same. If Keno does it, or let's say Famous does it, or Triple does it, it's a reason. There's a reason why they do it, and they do it because it works. But manually ranking, more than anything else, it provides you with more XP than helper bots. So say, for example, if you're in let's say a lieutenant rank and you are ranking and your XP percentage is, let's say, 0.02 or 0.04, if you manually rank and you do it that way, it is probably 2x higher than, or maybe half an x higher than it would be if you use a helper bot. So you're incentivized to manually rank. Hence why you will always see Disturbed people in jail. They rank tooth and nail. That's what they do. And I think that other people can learn a lot from that as well. I probably shouldn't be saying this. Definitely I shouldn't be saying it. And it is definitely something that probably other OGs will say, Lucky, why did you do that? But I hope that they will see the bigger picture and they will see that clicks and button pushes is what we need. So the more people we have in jail, the better it is for the elite OGs. We need competition anyway, so I'm not going to... but other people that think that it's okay to sit back and use helpers or think that eventually they will be able to rank up and catch up, the boat has left the port. So you need to be doing it now actively, and you need to be doing it all the time. And also you need to be paying the piper as well. Your kill skill is something that everybody's going to need. So definitely you should be doubling down on that. If anything, that should be your main focus. Your main focus should be, 30,000 in-game cash every 44 minutes should be your focus at all times. Yeah.
Now, those are the type of numbers that I don't think people will be wanting you to say. Yeah, exactly. But hey, look, it goes to show you've done your homework, you've done your numbers. I think that is again recipe for success, right? You clearly have a good bunch of people behind you, right? You've got good players in the family. You've got people, various people have different strategies within the family, so it's each one teach one type situation, which I think is good. I mean, I know I've had Bob on a few times, and Bob he's always planning ahead, always thinking ahead. So, I mean, I like it. I think you boys are on the right track. I think you're doing the right things. I mean, we just, we just have to keep on building, keep on building, keep on building.
Yeah, I would like to say to Hot Mafia girls, I'm rambling, but I'm rambling with a purpose, I guess. So I think that if you actually understand what I am saying, you can use that information in order to better yourself and better your position within the game. I think that it's important for as many of you guys to manually rank as possible. Stop using your helper bots for now and click buttons, I guess. Yeah.
There we go. Bob, any closing words? We're approaching the hour.
No, I'm glad that Lucky got a chance to show everybody what kind of a guy he is. And we're just happy to be in the game, and we'll keep playing and see how it goes.
That's it. We'll definitely do this again, boys. You know what I mean? My door's always open, like I always say.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I would like to
I like the idea of that.
One final parting message. I would like to say thanks to yourself, Cult, as well.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're amazing in terms of what you do for Mafia. And I would also like to say thank you to Bob as well. I think every Mafia family needs a Bob. I think we all need we all need a Bob. He's definitely one of a kind. And hats off to him as well. I think what he does every day, day in, day out for Mafia and in Mafia is a feat to behold. He's setting the pace for everybody else to follow. So well done, Bob.
Thank you.
That's great. That's great. Right. So if you are new to this channel, or if you're catching this later, or if you're on a replay gang or any of that sort of stuff, if you would like to get into Mafia, basically you need to you need to create a character with 2,000 equivalent of Mafia tokens. Once you're in, jump into Telegrams, right? Ask the right questions. You can see how much knowledge there is already, and it's just with the two people I've got on stream here, right? They're already working out the kinks. They're working out the best strategies for them. You can learn a lot from these guys, right? So jump into Telegrams, ask the right questions. I've even seen some questions in here in the chat. So I haven't been bringing them up, but I've been sort of keeping an eye on them. Look, now is the time. Now is the time. Rank up your characters. You can see already on B&B. So the Disturbed family are absolutely on fire, right? They've got a strategy that they're trying to do, which is ranking up the characters. We've got other families out there who other strategies are maybe pooling resources and getting, earning yield off of all those resources. So there's lots of different ways to play the game, right? Find out what's best for you, and jump into Telegrams and just discuss it with us, right? We will definitely be doing more of these streams upcoming. Everyone that has been here and joined us in the chat, thanks very much. I see some familiar faces. I see some new faces. Actually, I see we've actually just got GIF. GIF has probably been in there the whole time, and he hasn't said a word until now. So thanks very much, GIF. We're overdue for a stream as well too, brother, right? So we'll have to get that one done. Guys, thanks very much. I really appreciate your time, and I'll catch you in the green room. Don't hang up, okay? We'll chat after this. But yeah. But yeah, that's it. Right. Thanks very much,
guys. Thanks for tuning in as well. Really appreciate it. Thank you.